Hello, one and all. Welcome back to more Let's Play, I suppose, Mia Fey, Ace Attorney, Trials and Tribulations. I am the Max of Few Trades. In the last part, we saw what I can only believe to be the first part of the evidently intensely traumatic experience that Mia first endured when she first became a lawyer. We have yet to see what exactly about this trial has traumatized her for so long. But, I guess we're about to find out, because apparently it scared her away from being a lawyer for an entire year, so that's certainly not a great sign. We just managed to find some wiggle room to get through everything, and, well, I don't know. I want to say we're going to be able to get everything figured out, but I also don't actually know. Let's find out. So many noises, and I couldn't make any of them in time. I apologize. I want to say thanks. You're real good. You really hooked me up. Thanks. We're almost there. Once I prove that she committed the crime. Yeah, but there's one more big obstacle we've got to get past. Obstacle? Yeah, motive. Why would Melissa Foster kill that policewoman anyway? Well, on one hand, I find it rather interesting the fact that, okay, well, first of all, we know for a fact that this is actually Dahlia Hawthorne, which is the exact same last name as Valerie Hawthorne, which would imply that she murdered a sister, I can only assume, due to the age makes me think sister. So, I mean, I guess I can't admittedly put it past Dahlia. She definitely seemed like a psycho, because, you know, just from the previous experience, which chronologically happens after this one, but that's besides the point. I wouldn't put it past her, is all I'm saying. But, wow, that's a whole new level of messed up. Motive, huh? Anyway, we're still badly in need of information. Information, right. Mia, impersonating a parrot. What we need the most is info about this Melissa Foster herself. All we know is that she's a student studying literature, and the audience and the guy playing the game are aware of the fact that she's using a fake name. But how do we get that info out? And one more thing. What is it? Well, the incident that happened 5 years ago, of course. The kidnapping murder case that Zebra Boy is on death row for. I didn't do nothing. I didn't kill nobody. I never lie. Except for those times when I said I did. Mr. Fowles, in that case, tell us more about it. About what happened 5 years ago. Oh, okay. Okay. I trust you. That day, 5 years ago, I dream of it every day. This picture, it reminds me everything. Oh, okay. I was just gonna say, I don't think that's from a more recent endeavor. Bridge looks same, just like then, 5 years ago. Like it could fall apart any minute. So it's been broken like that for at least 5 years. That's incredibly weird. You'd think someone would have fixed it. Sorry, buddy, but you sound like the one that could fall apart at any minute. Yeah, you're really helping the situation. Thanks for that. It's true. I did kidnap her 5 years ago. I kidnapped my girlfriend, Dahlia Hawthorne. Don't mind me. 5 years ago. 5 years ago. You know, it's probably just for the best to ignore that little plot point. Let's just let's just not. Your girlfriend? Huh. Hey, hold on there. Did you say Hawthorne? The victim's last name. Dahlia Hawthorne. Valerie's little sister. What? Are you serious? The girl, let her go. And thus this scene makes a little more sense. Shut up. Come closer, and I kill her. Sorry, but you're not gonna get You're not gonna get the chance. And then there was the bang. Oh, this is new. Hang on. The detective back then was Valerie Hawthorne. And she was incredibly young at the time, too. I mean, I guess everybody involved is, but seriously, okay. At first, I thought shooting someone for a kidnapping was crossing the line, but if it was to protect her little sister, I can understand why she did it. Wrong! No protect sister! Valerie betrayed me! Betray us! What do you mean she betrayed you? Everything! All lies! All make-believe! Kidnapping, too! Make-believe kidnapping? Dahlia, my girlfriend, my love... No, okay, we're gonna call her that. Swiping that under the rug. Just put that under the rug. Did he actually say... That's where you're taking umbrage? Okay. It's a little more than just a little weird because of the schmaltz. I'd do anything she says. Anything Dahlia says. And now that we know who Dahlia is, so that could mean a lot of things. It's looking to me like this guy's just being horrendously manipulated like Phoenix was. Anything Dahlia says. Hold on a minute. What you're saying is that the kidnapping 5 years ago was planned by, yeah, me and Dahlia. And Valerie, too. Valerie was in on it? Dahlia's family's rich. Jewelry business. We get 1 jewel. That's what we thought. Me and Dahlia wrote kidnap note. We send to her dad. Ask for $2 million diamond. Tell him make exchange on Dusky Bridge. We tell him Valerie make transfer because she knew detective. Having a police detective in your pocket is a useful thing, all right. In the end, you were planning on splitting the 2 million 3 ways, huh? Which would also definitely explain, talk to Dahlia, tell her this time the whole truth must come out. And obviously, well, we're aware of the fact that Dahlia is in fact not the deaded. This is going to be really helpful for making that information come out. Yeah, but that woman! Plus the note explicitly says, you know, Dahlia, we're gonna tell her, I'm gonna tell the truth. Everyone's gonna know. That woman, Valerie, she do it for real. She shoot at me for real. Me and Dahlia. Bang. Okay, well that has to be Dahlia, she jump in river. Yeah, and apparently totally survived. And he got thrown completely under the bus because that, okay, so then he got tried for a murder that he didn't, okay, yeah. Even if this whole thing was phony. Yeah, interesting. Jump. You don't mean she jumped on purpose, do you? I couldn't do it. I could never push her. Anyway, I blacked out. Wake up with police all over. And that's when they decided to give you the death sentence. I couldn't believe it. That woman, she betrayed me. Everybody betrayed me. I fed up with this world, and I'm sorry. You can't say that many times without me thinking that. That man, Terry Fowles, he killed her. He threw her off the bridge. He threw my beloved sister into the roaring river 40 feet below. These 5 years, all I wonder is why? 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 Why did she lie? That's all I want to know. So that's why you called her. You wanted to hear the truth from Valerie herself. Yeah, but I forget what she looked like, so I tell her to wear scarves. I don't want to hurt her. Just ask why. Why? Why did you lie? Why did you betray me? I just want to hear an answer come from her mouth, that's all. So that's why. That's why you made a crazy escape like that. Just one thing, Zebra Boy. My nicknames are definitely not completely rude at all. My senses are tingling all over. Tell me, Mr. Fowles, where is it? Huh? Where's what? Come on now, kitten. The ransom. The $2 million diamond. Remember that now? Did you give it back to Pops? Did the police take it? I don't know. Huh? You don't know? No, really. I don't know. It's gone. With Dahlia. Oh, so basically what I could infer from all of this is Dahlia yoinked it, jumped off the bridge, survived so she could keep it all to herself, assumed a fake identity, and then her sister threatened to out the entire thing altogether and get her caught and get it taken away and get rid of the whole fake identity, prove she wasn't dead. So obviously she had to get taken out of the picture, and obviously so did Fowles. So obviously let him take up the slack for all the crimes. I mean, it definitely fits the MO from Dahlia when we saw her in the first case, or later in Mia's life. With Dahlia. That day, on the bridge, Dahlia put it in backpack. And then she ballyhooed on her way out. Now gone with Dahlia. Gone forever. Into Eagle River. Okay, so then the one question I have to ask is, Dahlia was on the witness stand. You were within proximity to her. Do you not remember what she looked like? I mean, I guess it is the difference between the ages 14 and 19, but still. Oh, sorry. I disappeared with her. Wait a minute. You can come back in now. We're about ready to go. Mr. Fowles, just one more question. When you said with Dahlia, do you mean the diamond is still missing? Along with the body of Dahlia Hawthorne? Never found her. Sweet Dahlia. They never found her? Swallowed by a river. Gone. Dahlia. Yeah. This ain't Captain Caveman and the Teen Angels. Please stop using that term. How old was she anyway? Are we? Okay, whoa, is this really gonna be like a plot thing? Just 14. 14? Guess you were robbing cradles before diamonds. Just a wee bit. Don't get me wrong, a 6-year age difference isn't that weird in the grand scheme of things. It's just weird when it's a 14 and 20-year-old. That's all. If it was like a 20 and a 26-year-old, that's fine. That's fine. But anyway, really don't want to get on that. She plans a fake kidnapping and disappears into the river with a rock worth 2 mil. Man, oh man. Angels these days. Fowles takes the fall and gets a one-way ticket to death row. Is Dahlia Hawthorne an angel, or is she really a devil? An actual, legitimately evil, conniving monster of a human being? I think so. It's time, kitten. Looks like we have a few more aces up our sleeve now. Yeah, but I also know why am I cursed with the knowledge that she gets away with all this? And how? How does she get away with all this? You bet. Diamond added. Handy dandy. The training wheels come off now, Mia. You got to strike while the iron is hot. That's one of my rules. Remember it. I sincerely hope the game isn't going to try and pull a, oh my god, Diego is Godot, like as a super mega plot twist, right? That it's supposed to be obvious, right? Surely. And I keep forgetting you. Now then, let's continue with the trial of Mr. Terry Fowles. I can't do a Canadian accent, so I'm not even gonna try. Witness, are you feeling better? Yes, Your Honor. I'll try my best. You're a brave young lady. Not this again. I can understand a defense lawyer wanting to get a client off the hook. However, to try to pin the crime on an innocent student is... What are you talking about? My witness is not the person on trial here. She's an innocent bystander who witnessed a violent crime. That's all. Bang, bang. What possible reason would a girl like this have for murdering a policewoman? I've got a pretty good story now. It's certainly hard to imagine this woman as a murderer. Well, how else you might want to start? Her motive, huh? I figured that's what I had to establish next. Well, Miss Faye, do you have any evidence of a motive? Yeah, of course. I think. Huh. You're still acting as tame as a kitten. Mr. Armando. Listen, a lawyer is someone who smiles no matter how bad it gets. Is that what they are? Smiling on the outside while your guts are twisted in knots is the mark of a pro. Maybe so, but I wish you would quit grinning at me like that. It's wicked creepy! But then again, I guess they get into a relationship. And I still don't understand is how any of that equates to him hating Phoenix. Excuse me, may I speak, Mr. Judge? Of course! Mr. Judge is ready anytime you like. I'd like to say something. Some people here are suspicious of me, right? That's why. I at least wanted you, Mr. Judge, to know that it's not true. I see. You're such an honest and upstanding young lady. Seems like this witness is a real professional ass kisser. What do you mean? Look at that 100-watt smile. Just when things are darkest for her, click, she lights right up. Very well then, let's hear what the witness has to say.
All right, what are we working with here?
Melissa Foster's history. Gotta prove that she ain't that. I was out of the country until the year before last. Until I entered college, I had never been to Eagle Mountain before. And I certainly don't have any reason for wanting to hurt a police officer. Holding a grudge and killing the officer who testified against you 5 years ago? Or kidnapping a poor girl. I just think the defendant is a terrible, horrible monster. Who you manipulated. You're a manipulator! Out of the country, eh? Precisely. Furthermore, she has no possible motive for committing murder. Indeed. You're up to bat, kitten. Sharpen those claws and put on your best smile. You bet! Somehow, I have to tie her to this case. Okay, so... I can't really debate whether or not she actually spent more time here or not. Whether she was out of the country, I can't say. And I can't really prove one way or the other if she'd never been to the mountain before, but it's also irrelevant. We've got stuff like this. That's certainly possibly what I want to work with, but also maybe this? I'm gonna go with, I want to actually press these things. Let's press these two things, see if we can get any info. Perhaps, but your behavior that day was very suspicious. Not only have you contradicted yourself here in court, but you know things you shouldn't. For example, the scratches on the trunk of the car. Well, that's... You fool! Do you think I give a diggle-dang about people actually getting tried for the crimes they commit? Nah, I'm pre-character development Edgeworth, and I don't give a damn. Unfortunately, Miss Fay, your last statement proves nothing. Oh, really? And why is that? The witness came to the police station once to identify the suspect. It's entirely possible that at that time, an officer showed her this photo. I mean, I suppose that's feasible. I don't feel like it should be, but all right. That seems like a rather serious mistake. That's the oldest trick in the prosecutor's book. That's not fair. That wicked inmate. I'll never be able to forget that horrible day. Yeah, I'll bet you can't. All right. Let's talk about it just a little. A grudge? Well, the policewoman's testimony was crucial, wasn't it? Crucial in getting the defendant sentenced to death? Yes, and that's precisely why he harbored such a deep anger against her. So much anger that he forgot his own guilt. What do you mean, forgot his own guilt? My client has always maintained that he's innocent of those charges. He seems rather forgetful. Your client, I mean. I don't know. I never met him before. What do I know? Not only did he forget about what he did, but he forgot the poor policewoman as well. What do you mean by that? Your client. He forgot what the detective looked like, right? It's too bad for her that he didn't forget about her testimony as well. Well, she's right about that. Mr. Fowles is kind of forgetful. Oh, no. We're pressing harder. We're pressing harder on this. You said he forgot what the detective looked like. What did you mean by that? Well, he couldn't tell who she was without some kind of identification, right? Quite right. That's why the victim was wearing a scarf as identification. Why, if I had been wearing a white scarf that day, then he probably would have tried to kill me. That's true. He's clearly a bitter man. This is bad. Mr. Fowles' reputation just keeps getting worse and worse. Sometimes it's best not to poke too deep. What should I do with that last statement? Well, it's a bit of a weak thread, but at the same time, assuming this adds what I think it does, I think I might actually have something here. Slam jam! Your Honor, what the witness said just now was tremendously important. I'd like it to add it to the official testimony. Okay, a bit exuberant, but I suppose we'll work with it. The prosecution has no objection. After all, the defendant is a killer and a mentally unbalanced one at that. That testimony only helps to further prove that point. No, that's not why I... Enough! Witness, if you would. My pleasure, Mr. Judge. Condescending smile. Indeed, but you know, it's interesting that you would bring up color. Objection! Witness, I want you to look at this photo you took. It's hard to see in the photo, but look at the scarf the victim wore as identification. Ah, you're talking about this scarf right here, eh? Yes, that's it. The scarf the policewoman was wearing. Black background of intensity. I've got her now. Just don't mess up. But that's strange. In your testimony, you stated the following. I guess I'm lucky I wasn't wearing a white scarf. White? This is the scarf you identified as belonging to the victim. But it certainly doesn't look white to me. So why exactly did you say that? Well, it was foggy that day, and it was raining as well. It's not surprising that she mistook it for white. Very kind, very nice. Nice little theory. Sorry, but not this time. The witness just confirmed that this was the victim's scarf. Yes, but what's the significance? It's true that the scarf doesn't look white, but there's only one explanation for this mix-up. Here we go. The reason why the witness thought the scarf was white is because of this note. Witness, have you ever seen this note? Note? No, never. It's top secret evidence. There's no reason that you would have. Ha! Sassafras. I wonder about that. What do you mean? This note shows Mr. Fowle's instructions to the victim regarding their meeting. It says, wear white scarf for identification. White scarf? Ah! Damn, that voice. Witness, you knew what this note said. And it's because you knew that you slipped up and mistakenly said white scarf. Well, Miss Foster? Bang, bang, bang with the gavel. Order, order, order. Mr. Edgeworth, I'm waiting for an explanation. Bang! Shabadoo! I'm quite sure this note wasn't leaked to the public. And yet, the witness knew exactly what the note said. At the time of the murder, the number of people that knew were quite limited. Terry Fowles is one. The person who wrote the note, Valerie Hawthorne, is another. And finally, one more person. Did you say one more person? Indeed she did. That's right. A person that no one would have suspected. Have you figured it out, kitten? Yep. Indeed I have. The third person that knew the contents of the note was... Oh, hello. Oh, well that's handy. I was about to say, because I don't really... Because this wouldn't really work. Yeah, okay, this is exactly what I wanted. And that person is... Dahlia Hawthorne. Dahlia Hawthorne? I've never heard that name before. Look at the victim's note. This is what it says. Talk to Dahlia. Tell her this time. This is her name, right there. What's this? So who is this person? This Dahlia Hawthorne? Smug, smug, smug. Miss Fay must be desperate if she's trying to bring the dead back to life. I'm not. Although technically, I suppose Mia would be capable of doing that in a sense. Dead? Dahlia Hawthorne was the victim's deceased younger sister. Yeah, why exactly did her note talk about speaking to her if she was dead? She was killed in a crime 5 years ago. Killed in a crime? You don't mean... Yes, she was kidnapped and killed by Terry Fowles. Thank you. Was kind of waiting for that. You said she was killed, but was she really? What are you implying? Of course, people thought she had died 5 years ago. Well, which is true. When she fell off Dusky Bridge and was lost in the Eagle River, but a body was never really recovered, so can you really be that certain? However, her corpse was never found. Bang, bang, bang! She was declared legally dead 5 years ago. Haha, you thought you caught me, but my condescending and nonsensical nature, it shall prevail once again. As far as the law is concerned, Dahlia Hawthorne is officially dead. Okay, cool beans. That doesn't really change anything though, but the fact remains that her body was never recovered. Dahlia Hawthorne was 14 years old 5 years ago. If she were still alive, she'd be 19 now. Melissa Foster. I believe that's the same age you are. Duh. Even you couldn't. Miss Faye, you're not saying. Oh, I think you do know what I'm saying. But I am. That's precisely what I'm saying. This witness before us is the girl that was kidnapped and killed 5 years ago. This girl is in fact Miss Dahlia Hawthorne. What? It's the truth. Nice work. Almost like tossing a grenade into a 3-alarm fire. Entirely unnecessary, but doesn't help? I'm not sure what that's supposed to mean. Unless you can tie all the loose ends together. Nothing but a hit-and-run arsonist. I understand, she says. I'm not knowing if that's true. If I can expose her true nature, I can turn this whole case on its head. Now's my chance to make Mr. Edgeworth squirm. Witness! Just who are you anyway? I didn't think it'd come to this. Nice enough. You don't have to say any more, witness. Yes, I understand. What? Mr. Edgeworth, explain yourself. Your Honor, I have an admission to make. Did you know about this? I honestly never thought the defense would pursue the matter this far. You don't mean... Smug. Yes, the prosecutor's office isn't filled with fools, you know. Naturally, we conduct full background checks on all of our witnesses. What did he say? Looks like the kid knew. He knew her true identity from the get-go and just didn't care. What? Why? If you hadn't revealed her secret, he wasn't gonna say anything about it, because he just doesn't give a damn. All he wanted was her testimony, so he made a little trade. Let me introduce you to the victim's younger sister, Miss Dahlia Hawthorne. But I thought she died 5 years ago. We thought so as well, but, well, as you can see. Why did she hide her identity for 5 years? That has nothing to do with the current case. She was merely an accidental witness to a crime. A crime that happened to involve the two people that also quasi kidnapped, quotation marks, murdered her. I don't believe that for a minute. For the last 5 years, she's been playing the role of victim. And now we find her acting suspiciously at the scene of another murder involving the exact same people. No, you think I care? I don't. Really, Miss Faye, I must say, your strategy here is painfully obvious. You're trying to pin your client's crime on an innocent witness in order to win. At any cost. How dare you? Please, let us take a moment to think. 5 years ago, this girl was kidnapped and nearly killed. But even worse than that, 5 years later, Dahlia Hawthorne lost something much more precious. Her big sister. Don't play that crap with me, she murdered her! Man, I forgot how much of a tool Edgeworth used to be. My God. Miss Faye must be insane to even suggest that she murdered her. Gah! Yeah, well, all the evidence I've got definitely sings a different story. So bring it. I'm inclined to agree with the prosecutor's logic. Miss Faye, do you have any evidence to back up your assertion? What possible reason would this witness have for killing her beloved sister? Well, first of all, do we have literally even the smallest semblance of evidence that she was a beloved sister? I mean, granted, the world at large doesn't know this yet, but it's clear Dahlia is a completely sick and twisted individual who doesn't give a crap. Well, you see, I thought I was winning, but somehow he turned it around on me. I think you need a little push in the right direction, kitten. The defense is prepared to present evidence supporting our claim. Oh, do we now? Okay. I mean, I'm pretty sure I know what I gotta do, but I'll say at the same time, I wish you didn't do that. That wasn't me, it was this guy, the coffee addict. Butts. I think we've heard enough empty threats from you, old man. Seriously, straight up. Screw you, young Edgeworth, you suck. What makes you think they're empty, boy? Because your protege looks like she's sweating bullets. It's just the one. I am sweating bullets. Well, sweating bullet. You think you're in a tough spot, huh? Of course, aren't I? No, you've just arrived at the moment of truth, that's all. Whether you win or lose, that's up to you. Up to me? The rashness of youth, how charming. This coming from someone younger than me. And at the same time, Edgeworth has also insulted me his age for being older than him. Seriously, not only is he a major tool, he's wildly inconsistent. And just kind of contrary and asshole-ish just for the sake of it. Now then, let's not waste any more time, Miss Faye. What motive would this witness have for murdering her own sister, Valerie Hawthorne? Well, my best guess would be the whole talk to Dahlia, tell her this time the whole truth must come out. You know, expose this entire, debacle. That'd be a pretty good reason. The story starts after Terry Fowles escaped. He called Valerie and told her he wanted to meet. This is the note she left. It says, talk to Dahlia. Tell her this time the whole truth must come out. Valerie Hawthorne gave Dahlia a warning. She told her she was going to reveal to the world the whole truth. The whole truth? There was a dangerously important secret between Valerie and Dahlia. That's the reason Dahlia felt she had to kill Valerie. To keep her mouth shut permanently. Does that still feel like an empty threat? A terrific story, Miss Faye. If you like fiction, that is. Enlighten the court, Miss Faye. What was this secret that was so important? Where's your evidence? Dahlia and Valerie Hawthorne and Terry Fowles. There's only one important secret that connects them all. Oh, yeah, I know this secret. I got this one already. Your Honor, the defense would like to request further testimony. What testimony? Regarding the kidnapping 5 years ago. We believe it will explain a lot of things. Not just a lot of things, but all the things. Such as the nature of the important secret between the Hawthorne sisters. Very well. I'll grant your request for further testimony. I know it'll be painful for you, but can you enlighten us once more? That'll I believe. Yes, I'll try, Mr. Judge. Putting on the old charm one more time, Dahlia. This'll be the last time you hide behind your womanly wiles. It ain't gonna work no mo! Seriously though, I don't understand why people are so enraptured by Dahlia, but entirely just ignoring. I mean, Gumshoe didn't ignore Mia. So strange. I guess these people just love redheads. Go figure. 5 years ago, I was kidnapped by Mr. Fowles. The ransom price was a raw diamond. My sister Valerie brought it to the bridge. I grabbed it and jumped off the bridge, faking my own death. Ha 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 ha. After she made the exchange, she shot Mr. Fowles in the arm. Whee! That's when Mr. Fowles tried to kill me by shoving me off the bridge from behind. I survived, but I was afraid I might be kidnapped again for my family's money. So I decided to change my identity and start a new life. Somehow. That's not exactly an easy thing to accomplish. Huh. The kidnapping left her emotionally scarred. With the sister's help, she left the Hawthorne family and started all over again. Okay. Well, at least they throw a cursory information about that around. And we're to believe, after all that, she murdered her sister? Preposterous! Thank you, Mr. Edgeworth. Miss Faye? Yes, Your Honor? As you've heard, the witness is still traumatized from the kidnapping. Yeah, sure. That's definitely what it was. Makes sense. I'll ask you again to be extremely gentle in your cross-examination. Mr. Edgeworth got the jump on me again. If we're not allowed to fight, then let's twist some arms. Listen up. You still got that info. That ace up our sleeve. What info? Come on, kitten. Don't say you've forgotten already. The fact that the kidnapping 5 years ago was staged. That's right. It was a fake kidnapping. Terry Fowles told us that in the lobby. He didn't even throw her. I do anything she says. Anything Dahlia says. So what you're saying is that the kidnapping was all planned by me and Dahlia. And Valerie, too. Yes. That's it. The fake kidnapping is your best shot, Mia. That's her secret. Okay. So I have a theory. I'm just not 100% sure about how to properly apply it. Okay, but it's definitely this part here. Shoving them off the bridge. Okay, let me just take a quick look at some stuff. And if I'm correct... Yeah. Yeah, okay. I actually think I think I know what I've got to do, and I'm gonna hope that this works. And if I can't, I'm assuming I'm not allowed to do any pressing and twisting because of the traumatizing actions and all that crap. So, you know what? Let's just hope for the best, throw all the dice on the table, hope for a good score! The music stopped, I think I did it. You say that Mr. Fowles pushed you into the Eagle River. However, that's hard to believe. But it's true. I felt a push on my back. I'm certain of it. It was Mr. Fowles. Yeah, except no. I'm sorry. I guess I wasn't clear enough. I shouldn't have said that's hard to believe. I should have said that's impossible. Impossible? I asked that the court recall the condition of Dusky Bridge, now and 5 years ago. Here we go. That bridge hasn't changed one bit in these last 5 years. For some reason. I really feel like that needs to be spoken of more. If someone had pushed you from behind as you have claimed, there we go. Right onto the kaboom. You would have turned into a flat old pancake. Instead of being carried away by the river, you'd very much just straight up be dead. You would have been smashed by the bedrock below. A most certain death. So what do you gotta say about that? And I think I know exactly how we're gonna go about this too. And I already have 2 reasons why it's not gonna work. So fine, I wasn't pushed. He threw me over the side. Yeah, except here's the problem. I don't think that's possible either, because we just heard earlier he got shot in the arm. And if he got shot in the arm, how is he gonna be able to lift her over those ropes? Boom. Do you understand now, Dahlia Hawthorne? The very notion that my client pushed you from behind is impossible. Bang, bang. Your Honor, this event occurred 5 years ago. Why, for all we know, the water level in the river may have been higher back then. Really? That's what you're going with? But it's 40 feet from the bridge to the river. A small change in the water level wouldn't have made a difference. That's a good point, damn it. You're right. If the events occurred just as the witnesses testified, then the defendant couldn't have pushed the witness into the river. Young lady, what is the meaning of this? Are you a murderer? You see, All right, Edgeworth, is it gonna be you? Whoa, those eyes. Just a moment, Your Honor. It's true that the witness testified that the defendant pushed her into the river. However, she never stated that she fell from the back end of the bridge. There we go. Now we're going with the side angles. What do you mean? After being shot in the arm, it's plausible that Mr. Fowles panicked. Therefore, he could have unwittingly pushed her off the side of the bridge. No. It would have had to have been deliberate, and deliberate doesn't work. If that's true, she would have fallen into the river. Well, Miss Hawthorne, is Mr. Edgeworth's explanation correct? Yeah, sure, why not? It's an out, I'll take it. Now that you mention it, I do remember now, when I fell off the bridge. My skirt got caught on one of the bridge's side wires. You can't be serious! Come on, let me prove otherwise. Order in the court. Smug. It seems Miss Faye's assault has finally reached its conclusion. No, it has not. Not now, Mia. This is no time to retreat. Unfortunately for you, this is just the start of Miss Faye's assault. What? I believe your reasoning went something like this, Mr. Edgeworth. After being shot in the arm, it's plausible that Mr. Fowles panicked. Therefore, he could have unwittingly pushed her off the side of the bridge. Well, first of all, then that would be manslaughter. Second of all, more importantly, also impossible. Once again, I'm forced to say that's impossible. Ridiculous! What's so impossible about it? Because your flawed logic contradicts the court record. Bang, bang, boom, shakalaka, bam. How does this court go horribly wrong for me, exactly, into a traumatizing event? I'm actually kind of got a pit in my stomach of worry here, because everything's actually going really well, so how do things go this badly? Your Honor, all of the answers are right here in this photo. Take a look at the wires supporting both sides of the bridge. They extend up to about 5 feet off the ground. It'd be impossible to push someone off from there. No! But let's remember the size and strength of the defendant. Wires like this wouldn't be a problem for him. He could have easily picked up a 14-year-old girl and thrown her over. With one arm? So young and already so forgetful, Mr. Edgeworth. Oh, sassy. Mr. Fowles had been shot in the right arm. Huh. And more importantly, Valerie Hawthorne had her gun trained on him at point-blank range. Even if he could lift her and toss her with one arm, you don't think she'd just shoot him again? So, Mr. Fowles, throwing the witness off the bridge? That is clearly impossible. I do enjoy seeing the prosecutor do that. Order, order! What is the meaning of this? Dahlia Hawthorne, you jumped into the Eagle River intentionally. But what is this? And why did Furio Tigre just growl from the future? Indeed, what do you mean by such a ridiculous remark? Yes, it's ridiculous. My sister was there to help me. She had her gun in handcuffs. She could have saved me. Jumping into a raging river like that would have been suicide. Perhaps, but still, that's what you did. You were probably confident that you could handle the swift current. But even more so, the witness had a much more compelling reason for jumping into the river. Bang, bang, shed the gavel. What was it? What was so important that she'd want to jump into the river? The witness is still alive. This fact alone explains everything. This is why she risked her life by jumping into the rapids of the Eagle River. My God, thank goodness there's so little evidence for me to possibly screw this up on. There's no other possible reason. She wanted the money. 5 years ago, something else disappeared along with Dahlia that day. The item that Valerie brought up the mountain with her. The $2 million diamond. No, it can't be. Oh, but it can. Yes, Dahlia had it all planned from the beginning. The $2 million. She was gonna keep it all for herself. She forced Mr. Fowles to help her fake the kidnapping. At the last minute, she betrayed him and threw herself into the river, with the ransom tucked away safely in her backpack. Oh! Why, that's simply ridiculous! I know that pose. Order, order, order! Your Honor, 5 years ago, the witness was only 14 years old. Do you really think a 14-year-old is capable of such a demonic plan? Ordinarily, I'd say no. But this is no typical woman. This woman is a demon. Damn, I know I implied it, but I wasn't expecting someone to say it. And there was one more person who helped make a demon out of her. Her sister, Valerie Hawthorne. You mean the victim was involved in the kidnapping plot as well? But she was a detective then. You're saying she participated in her sister's kidnapping? Hey, money's a powerful motivator. Precisely. I'm sure that it weighed heavily on her conscience for the past 5 years. Probably has something to do with the testimony and why she wanted to have the truth all spilled out. This is the sole reason behind the victim's murder. What do you mean by that? On the day of the murder, after receiving the phone call from Mr. Fowles, Valerie called her sister Dahlia. And then she told her what she was planning to do. Planning to do? She was gonna tell the whole truth. She wrote in her note! That is what sealed Valerie Hawthorne's fate. That is when you hatched your demonic plan to kill 2 birds with 1 stone. A plan that would ensure neither of your accomplices to the kidnapping would talk. And that is why you killed your sister, Valerie Hawthorne. How's that sound, court? Did she crack? Who was that? Laughing at a time like this. Here it is. True colors. Forgive me. It's just hilarious. Witness? Is that you? You amuse me, woman. Miss Mia Fey. What's with the bold face? You could certainly weave an exciting tale. Naturally, you have the evidence to back it up, don't you? Evidence? Evidence that I planned the kidnapping, of course. That at 14, I plotted it with Mr. Fowles and my sister. But, well, And one more thing. What happened to the $2 million diamond? I don't know, I assume you hawked it. If you can't provide evidence to at least show that. Well, Miss Fey? I don't know. What a joke. You, Miss Fey! Are you stupid or something? The only idiot I can find in the courtroom is you. You're the one who's trying to get away with such obscenely, ridiculously, insanely demonic, effed up nonsense. You'd have to be a whole different kind of stupid in order to even consider doing the things you've done. How could I prove a fake kidnapping that happened 5 years ago? I don't even have decisive proof of Valerie Hawthorne's murder. Well, it seems we've come to the end. To be honest, the witness' behavior does raise certain suspicions. However, I am forced to reject the assertions made by the defense. Of course you are. Is this it? I mean, don't get me wrong. This sucks, and I can understand why Mia would, hold a small vendetta in order to get, that would pull her into that second case that we saw at the beginning of the game, but I don't see anything traumatizing about this encounter. It's not that resounding of a defeat, so much as it is just a really sucky one. That girl's made a fool of me, and there's nothing I could do about it. Without evidence, the trial is over. Who decided that? Mr. Armando? Come on now, kitten. Haven't you figured out that you can make your own rules? For example, even if there's no evidence, there's still testimony. Testimony? On the day in question, Dahlia Hawthorne murdered her sister, Valerie Hawthorne. She hid her body in the trunk of Mr. Fowle's stolen car and then went to meet him. Disguised as her sister, Valerie Hawthorne. That's what you think, right? Yeah, that's right. In that case, there's only one answer, right? There's only one person left who can testify about Valerie Hawthorne's murder. Since there's no proof, there's only one thing left to do. Who's the one person who can testify to that demon woman's crimes? Is he even willing to talk? I mean, he knows the truth. And she's obviously trying to throw him under the bus. Your Honor, the defense wishes to call a new witness. A new witness? Yes. We would like to hear the testimony of Terry Fowles. Defendant? There's only one person that can shed any further light on the situation. Only one person that knows what Dahlia's role in the kidnapping was. Only one person that can say whether the person in this photo is Valerie Hawthorne, or whether it was in fact her younger sister Dahlia, disguised as her. There's only one person who can solve this riddle once and for all, and that person is Terry Fowles. Well, Mr. Edgeworth, what is your take on this? Smug, smug, smug. Why not? The prosecution has no objection. Very well. Bailiff, bring the defendant to the witness stand. It's pretty much our only choice. This is my last chance, Mr. Fowles. My last chance to establish Dahlia's guilt. You're all I have left, which is kind of a problem if I'm being honest. Defendant, you've heard everything that's been said up to this point, yes? Yeah, I don't believe it. No way. Dahlia died 5 years ago. Valerie betrayed me. Mr. Fowles, I don't know what she said to you 5 years ago, but one thing is clear. Dahlia is very much alive, and you were used for $2 million. That's not true. Mr. Fowles, there's only one question I want the answer to. 2 days ago on Dusky Bridge, who did you meet? Was it Valerie Hawthorne, or was it Dahlia Hawthorne? Dahlia, did you betray me? 5 years ago, she promised never ever betray each other. Terry. Dahlia, it's true. You are alive. You don't trust me anymore? That makes me sad. Tell the truth. Oh, tell the truth. The real truth. I believed in you. I shouldn't need to say it. You should already know. But there's one thing I will say. My life is in your hands right now, Terry. Leah. That's a problem. I will allow Mr. Fowles to testify once, and once only. Well then, Mr. Fowles, yours will be the final testimony in this trial. Witness? Yeah, I'm sorry. I apologize. Water. Please, water. Can't talk. Need water. Well, I guess it'll have to be my coffee instead. At least it'll match the way you're probably feeling right now. Darker and bitter than hell itself. Alright, so who'd you see? That day, 4 p.m., I stopped the car. I was in front of Bridge. She wasn't there, so I waited on Bridge. I watched my car from Bridge and never put nobody in that car. Finally, one woman came. She stood in front of me. We talked, and she left. That was Valerie, not my Dahlia. I see. Okay, except that would... Mr. Fowles, you're covering for her. Do you think she would do the same for you? Okay. That's enough, Miss Fay. His last statement was a fitting way to end the final testimony of the trial. Well then, Miss Fay, please proceed with your cross-examination. Is this how you want to end, Mr. Fowles? Another guilty verdict to go along with your death sentence? There's only one person who can stop it. You, kitten. I think. I mean, I don't know. Okay, well... This is all very easily solved. She wasn't there, so I waited on Bridge. Except that's literally not possible. Objection! Come on. So when you got to the bridge, no one had arrived, huh? So you waited on the bridge? You're sure of that? Yeah, I'm sure. You're sure, huh? Well, then I'm sure too, Mr. Fowles. I'm sure that you're lying. Whoa. Oh, I'd love to hear your rationale on this, Miss Fay. You want to know who arrived at the bridge first? Just look at this photo. It's perfectly clear. Obviously, the person that came first would be the one at the end of the bridge, right? But that's the victim at the end of the bridge. Seriously. Precisely my point. In other words, Mr. Fowles, you must have arrived at the bridge after she did. Mr. Fowles, please don't get so worked up. We just want the truth. I got there around 4 o'clock. It's true. I had somewhere to go. A special place. Did you go to this special place before you went to the bridge? Yeah. It's an old temple about 15 minutes from the bridge. 5 years ago, me and Dahlia, we promised each other. We swore we wouldn't betray each other. She brought a memento to represent our love. Oh. I can't help but notice, and I don't know how I didn't notice before. Oh boy. A memento? 5 years ago, I hid it under the base of a tree there. Oh no, how did I not notice the necklace? It's a special memory for me. This is it. This is what I went to get. This little bottle on a necklace is your memento? It's quite charming, but it looks empty. Your Honor, you heard what my client said. He arrived at the scene at 4 o'clock, but he then left his car unattended and walked away. He was gone for approximately 30 minutes. Yuck. With that much time, Dahlia Hawthorne could have easily hidden the body in the trunk of his car. No! Indeed. There certainly was enough time for it. I've still got a chance. Mr. Fowles, there's no mistaking it. Oh no, this is going where I think it's going. Holy crap. Mr. Fowles? Oh no. That's enough. Please. Witness? I promised her 5 years ago, if it ever happens, that we can't trust each other no more, then we're supposed to drink bottle. Gah. No! Stop the trial! Your Honor, we need a recess! I think we need a little more than that! I was stupid. Couldn't keep promise. So I did it. I drank this. No! We're so close! Just a little more! I was gonna prove your innocence! No. Don't want that. Don't trust self. Maybe kill again. Kill sweet Dahlia again. Mr. Fowles! Mr. Armando. Thanks for the coffee. Holy shit. Oh my god. Well, I asked what could possibly traumatize her. That'd do it. And so my first trial ended. Suddenly and tragically. It ended with no winners. Only losers. I ended up with a wound that cut so deep into my soul, I thought it'd never heal. I'm sure it was the same for the young prosecutor as well. But one person, the true criminal, Dahlia Hawthorne, she left the courtroom with a secret smile on her demonically sweet face. God damn, no wonder Mia hated her so much. And to top it all off, oh my god. She asked all those so even after this, they must have had her in questioning, and Armando got poisoned. Good lord. Quite frankly, I'm amazed Mia didn't go insane from all this. Unforgivable. That witch. Mr. Armando. We were so close to the truth. It was right there in front of us. You were just a little too soft, kitten. It's not my fault. It's not my fault that Mr. Fowles killed himself. Don't cry, kitten. You're gonna make my coffee all salty. We have bigger problems than that right now. Is your flowery metaphors really necessary right now? I knew it. I knew I wasn't cut out for this. Mia. I suppose this is the more overt sense that we're supposed to be told this is Godot. Don't you get it? You can't cry yet. Jesus! The only time a lawyer can cry is when it's all over. Mr. Armando. No matter how tough the case, no matter how bitter the memories. They always fade over time. Then you file them away and eventually forget them. Phoenix. I just realized, is he in a hospital? 1 year later, in this very same courthouse, I myself got wrapped up in that case. God, I had no idea the backstory of this would be so messed up. Only after that did Dahlia Hawthorne get put on trial for her crimes. The verdict that was ultimately handed down to her was guilty, of course. Naturally, when the verdict was read, she had a perfect, angelic smile on her face. It was finally all over. At least that's what I thought at the time. Unfortunately, I couldn't have been more wrong. It's been 5 years, but now something has happened that's made me remember all this. Well, that's more than a little ominous. Bridge to the turnabout. I don't even know what to say. I think it's safe to assume we've reached the final case of the game, though. And I suppose next time we'll get that started. I'll see you all then.